Good morning. Nice comeback in this market. You know, it's a couple of days ago on YouTube. I titled it "Buy the Dip Something," and today I titled it "Buy the Dip Moron." It's so crazy. This market is that any dip will be bought, no matter how ugly it looks. And so far, it's been working. As we'll see what happens over the next couple of days as to whether this consolidates here. The Dow got through resistance, and impressively, it looks like it should be able to go higher. And we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. But we've got a wide range, or we call a range expansion bottoming tail bar on the futures, and then followed by a wide range green bar. Now, this is typically followed, this bottoming tail bar is typically followed by what I said yesterday, a consolidation day or an inside bar. And that was the case until around lunchtime. And you can see, things took off. And so we've got this little M top going on here, and we'll see how far they pull back. But, we go back to the factory work, and we could, this is supposed to stay in the middle, which would put it in this area of minor support, subjective as a reference point, but widely used. And you see there's nothing there on the way up, possibly on a, not even on an lower time frame intraday chart is there something. But this is where thereabouts, I would guess. Well, this is the subjective part about people that use Fibonacci, meaning, they measure from here to here, then some will measure from here to here, and then they see if they have some lines overlap between those two measurements, and they try and find those type of things for the so-called secret support areas, which is all bullshit. But excuse my language, but it totally is. So there's nothing here. Buyers can come in and create a support area, and that may be what happens as it comes down here. So far, it's just chopping around here. What we do is, we look at smaller time frames. Once it comes down to even a subjective area, we start looking for this to pivot. And as on the smaller time frame, as it begins to pivot and retest, well, then we see that accumulation is happening within the area that it should, based on our method. So possibly this is beginning to form some support here, but it's not in the right location yet. And what we would need to see is actually to break the trend on the 5-minute time frame by trading above this resistance area to start thinking, hey, it's not going to get down there. So far, it looks like it's going to continue to move lower. Right? So, McGraw, are you talking about SPX or the futures? Futures, 3,900 whole number, SPX. Yeah, so let's take a look. Nice Thursday at 3,900. Right, maybe, the way this came up, I guess so, whole number, but drag that up there, up into that area. So that's the halfway mark on the wide range bar. So possibly, sure. We'll see what happens, if it reaches down there or what it does. But I'll tell you, and you're in the room every day, so you know what this should do. The way it came up from this low and this wide range bar, there should not be any close down here. If it pokes down here intraday, it should close up here the candle bodies, the difference between the open and close should stay in the upper part of this wide range bar and prove and validate this bullish move off of the low, even though this is at resistance. Green shade on the hourly. It's a pretty wide area, but, and you can even see on the 15-minute that, this was strength, the way it went up vertically. And then as it came down to this area where it started the move, a deep retracement, it began bottoming out again right here. And then we got the wide range igniting bar. So this would be a subjective reference point. It's beyond what's to the left and traded, prices traded below and back up again. So if this was super strong, right, what does that mean? Extreme demand. That's where support would be. And even though, at the end of the day, this was a retest and looking like an M top, right? Buyers should want to step up here because that's the support point. Now, if it breaks below that, there's a really tiny support point right there, which you can see here on the 5-minute are these overlapping bars. So, as you see this kind of a momentum move, the lesson in MTS is where you see a cluster of opens and closes together, there's going to be a base in a smaller time frame. And so you could see on the 5-minute, there's the base, which comes in alignment with 3,900, thereabouts. So even though a whole number can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like a moving average, if you can validate that with some type of price support, which is real, well, that kind of makes the case as to that whole number or a moving average. So there you have it. And, I guess if you I'm just eyeballing this again, the Fibonacci aficionados, as I like to call them, they measure from here to here, and then maybe their magic number lines up. They measure from here to here, and they're confused. So they draw a few more numbers, put a trend line on there and a cloud, and you're going to catch some turn somewhere along there, right? All right, NASDAQ. Not so impressive. Not so impressive. I hear wide range bar down. I mean, this was an obvious point where buyers would show up. And of course they did. But it couldn't get through the high yesterday. And well, there was a peekaboo up there this morning and it's coming in. So tech is still unloved. Financials, energy, things have kind of shifted as to what's being favored at this point. And so we'll see where this day ends, but this is consolidating here. And I can't imagine that if the NASDAQ goes, and I've not been able to imagine certain things that occurred right before my very eyes after I couldn't imagine it in this market. But what I was going to say is I cannot imagine if these NASDAQ futures closed down here and the other markets continued to hold their strength. Sure, you look at the Qs. So where are they? 321. Right, they're down here. They're gapping down pretty far into this green bar. Right, so 320, the 50 MA is about there. Kind of gapping into the middle of nowhere from yesterday. And 320, right? Gapping down below that little support. And there's nothing here. So the gap creates a void above and there's a void below. I guess we're going to wait, 5 or 10 minutes or what, and see who wants to buy or who wants to continue to sell. Another opportunity to buy the dip. I guess if it comes down here, we'll see. But the weekly chart, if it goes down there again, the weekly chart's not going to look so great tomorrow. So definitely interested to see where this is going to end up at the end of the day tomorrow. All right, YM, usually the laggard. Look at this. All right, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. We spoke about this yesterday, and all the closes were about in the same. And you know, the corruption trade kicks in. Powell speaking. Stimulus is coming. Yeah, this is like a crack addict with a black American Express card with no limit, and the bill's going to come one day. Well, so 3,200. I don't know how meaningful that is, but things are backing away here a little bit. Weekly chart looks bullish as hell. Bar's not done yet. Little corrective mode. Nothing to stop it from going down. We've got a little something right here, right? Not much, but again, continue the factory work. You know, Russell, correction bar, continuation bar, and into support. Now it's at resistance. I guess maybe today we're going to get the choppy chop day. Bonds, you know, almost to the bottom of that support area right there that we've been talking about for months. Continue to move lower. And oil's up again. Energy stocks being loved. Right, didn't take out the high. Like I said, momentum was slowing down, but nice bar going on here. Gold just continues to struggle in this area. We'll see if it holds. Silver showing the relative strength. Surprised it hadn't moved up. Maybe, I don't know if gold is holding it back, but the silver stocks still look good. Right? They actually look pretty darn good. Right? AG and all the others. And lastly, transports. Fantastic. Right? New all-time high. And nothing to stop it from going up other than it just stops going up, which is no sign of doing that yet. So buy the dip, moron. And let's see where today goes. Talk to you.
Are you done? I didn't hear.
I am, Dan. Sure.
I didn't hear you. Turn it over.
I said buy the dip, moron. I didn't mean you, but yes, I was done. Yeah, I usually say take it, Dan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we sold a put spread on diamonds yesterday, but we were doing MT live. But I said, what's today? Thursday. I said Tuesday with this big bottoming tail. I said Tuesday this is a buy over these tails, and it ripped over lunch. Amazing. All right, all our opens seem fine, so just ask me if you have any questions. And this GME, as you know, is back in play. We were watching that into the close. It doubled into the close in an hour, and then it got halted. But we had earnings today, and we were looking to sell a way out of the money call at $500. There was crazy premium, and we had a long talk about this. I was saying that yes, it's a bullish bar, but that wasn't the conversation. The conversation was this stock is dead. It's a toy for the short people. I said, does anybody in their wildest dreams think this would gap up over $500 on earnings? And I said, short squeezes happen slowly. They don't they typically don't just gap up like this. So anyway, yes, it's gapping up big here again, but if it wasn't halted yesterday, we were going to do a 500 and above call spread, but I still want to watch that today to do the same thing. We'll just let it calm down and pick our spots. Yeah, the Reddit boys, Wall Street Bets, AMC. Here's a new toy. Well, not a new one, but I mean back in play. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's asking about ETR, Bear 123. It's technically not a 123, although yes, it's bearish because our 123 is they don't retrace this deep into a bar, but it's still bearish. It's a top and tail that closed weak. So yeah, that looks lower under the lows. Yeah, it looks lower, sure. Put it in my list over here. Thomas is asking about Ford. That was on our list yesterday morning. Yep, and this would have been a fantastic, whatever, 15, 30 hour high. That was your entry. It still looks higher. I sent out a Telegram alert in the morning to our traders saying I liked it. We talked about it on MT Live. I liked it. Honeywell, I don't like, unless you just want to sell a put spread under yesterday's low. You got a lot of resistance there. Let me go to my earnings and movers list here. Twitter, that was a beautiful 1, 2, 3 with a gap reversal. I don't have any idea what's up this morning, nor do I care. But it's ripping right now. This WNW, I posted as a watch. It's been a dead animal here. Negating this green bar was a very bad sign, but now it's getting a nice gap up. Let's see if it can take out a 30-minute high. BBY, nasty gap, but look, 104, it's gapping right to support in the 200. Well, let's see what it does. I mean, could it sell off another 10 bucks? Of course it could. I have no idea. All I'm saying is let's watch it. Look at this zoom. Look how this thing just magically kissed the 200 and then ripped. I have this as a put spread if it can get over yesterday's high. Let's see, Thomas asking about Nike. Came down very, very hard. 137, it's a gap up. Day trade, 30-minute high, day trade is fine for a little bounce. Little bounces on Norbert, RVLB. John Van Tulen, your drop down. This is a gap breakout to all-time highs. Percentage-wise, the gap's pretty big, but I personally don't like the wide and whippy bars here, but it's a gap breakout. WFC, Diego. Yep, that had banks have had an amazing run. It amazes me the stock market and these things. Oh, Jim, talking about GME again. Kramer was on television and one of the other guys, and he's just shaking his head. He also doesn't understand this gap up today. And then Kramer, I guess, was just having fun. He's like, all right, well, let me try to come up with a reason. And, he was just total spitballing. What could it be? And he said, well, you know what? Maybe the new CEO is going to do something with the Bitcoin interest. Right? Maybe, I don't know. Well, we're just chartists as always, but we'll see. Target, I don't Target 188. I mean, I can tell that if I blow this 15-minute chart up, John, I can tell without even looking. I can tell. Norbert, I already answered that. RVLV. I said it's a gap breakout, but you got to let it settle down and pick your stop. I can tell that with all the, this breakdown from these 3 bars, that there's going to be a ton of resistance to the left. Voila, see that, John? Now, could it be a day trade? Possibly, but we want to pick the best. JR is asking about DBI. Oh, I remember looking at that the other day. Yeah, I like the little downside shakeout. Yep, I like DBI. Sure. Market gapping down here, so I'm not going to be in a rush. So maybe 15-minute high. But yeah, that's a definite candidate. Let me continue. Whiskey, 270. No, big old mess. Got 0 interest. AAIC, Robin, that's a SPAC. Oh, yeah. We talked about that one yesterday. Yeah, let's give it 5, 10, 15 minutes, but yeah, that's on the list. Sure. Oh, look at True here. It's a big gap, 571 up here to resistance. But you all know about my 4 time frames right here, right? So daily bottom left, 15 upper left. I got my weekly here in the middle bottom. Middle top is my monthly. So look, looking at this little bit, I said, let me expand this. That's a beautiful bottom with a price void, right? Made a new low, greater than 100% retracement. Now it's gapping up. My target would be, 850. So gapping up to 570, it still has a lot of room. The problem is now going back to the daily, it's not a great entry because your stop would have to be massive. But I like it as a potential core. So I put it in a 15-minute window, other computer, or actually, where did I put it? Yeah, I have them on my other computer window, and this, I think we need to do another MT live here on multiple time frames, and even core for core trading, because we've had some beautiful cores. A number of them have been in stocks under $10, and that wasn't on purpose. That was just because that's what we found, and maybe it's just part of the story of people chasing the junk. The Square and PayPal are surely not core trades. Postage, big old mess. Volume spike coming in a Nike. Ping. Gapping down 2650. That's an ugly gap, but no pattern. MTNX gapping up 3360. There's no price void. But put spread if there's anything down there. And tap, ugly gap. 66 bucks. That's an ugly gap, but I have no idea what to do with it. So it's kind of just a pass for me. I'm looking for the most ripe setups at the open. Otherwise, I'll come back to them in 30 minutes and see what they look like. 55 bucks, gapping down a little bit. It's a mess, but if I had to pick something, it would be 15-minute low, day trade short. ANSS, I can't tell where you're gapping, but nice put spread. Nice put spread candidate over yesterday's high. ESTC 151, bearish gap, no pattern. These are all earnings. I was surprised there's so many earnings this late in the season. BIAC, wow, this thing gave some beautiful entries. There's 3 of them, 4 of them. This gap day, this 1, 2, 3 continuation, this pullback, this consolidation. It's too extended now, but I see 4 beautiful entries on BIAC. CCO, no pattern. ADNT, yeah, we were watching that one yesterday. We missed our ideal entry. I'm not going to chase it, Robin, particularly with the, market gapping down here. I mean, it does look higher. You just need a big stop. Yesterday's low. Lots 1075, bullish gap, but no pattern. TPC. TPC looks great. It's not a core trade, but it's a swing. Breakout daily, weekly. I can't tell where it's opening, so the gap might mess it up. But that's a breakout trade over yesterday's high. Costs, yeah, we entered yesterday. 339. It still looks higher. Stopped yesterday's low, unless you're just day trading. But yeah, cost looks good. Closing at the high. KRA to extended. Maxer 4480, no pattern. TDOC, one of these, stay-at-home trades. Teledoc. This upside shakeout and this wide range bar here, those were the 2 tells saying that's a short-term top. Now I got no interest in it. Oh, NVIDIA, another one of our usual suspects at earnings, has a gap down and nothing. I have no idea what to do with this mess. If it can just stabilize, then it could be a condor because of earnings. The volatility is high. If you could do a 510 and 620 condor, but I would, wait 15 minutes to. All right, see now TPC opened and it's a bearish gap, so I'm done with it. Got no interest in TPC anymore. GME, Kathy Wood. Yeah, McGraw sent me her list. We'll go through it later. Yeah, I'll let the GME trade 5 minutes or so, and then I'm curious to see what those out of the money calls are even for tomorrow. Diamonds 15-minute chart. We kind of have an M top here, excluding pre-market. So with a lot of air below. So let's be careful. It's true that I mentioned. Yeah, I can't chase that. If it opened hypothetically 540 to 560, I would say buy it as a core. Stop yesterday's low. Still looks great. I just hate that's a big. You could drive a semi truck into this hole right here. So I don't even need to look at dollar signs, price. I look at pictures, and that's a big old gap. All right, buyers are stepping up here on the spider gap down, and it's in the upper 80%. So it's still fine right now. Bulls are still in control. Yeah, it could be finally making the turn. Sure. Your stop is a little difficult, TJ. I don't have a no-brainer on the stop. Ideally, it's the week's low until it gets some altitude, and then you can move it to yesterday's low. But I like it. X, I had an alarm here go off. We're short puts that expire tomorrow. That should be full profit. But yeah, sandals worth watching. Now this DBI we mentioned, DBI, that's a 30-minute high trade. I like it. Maybe even 15-minute. Yeah, breakout daily, weekly. Yeah, I like it. Let's do 15-minute high on DBI. I'm just going to give it now so I don't forget about it. Stop 1198. GME selling off. I'm going to check those calls now. Holy cow, Greg. Unless these aren't updating, the 640 call, the 660 calls are $2. So are the 720s. So are the 740s. These can't be accurate. I don't believe these numbers. It shows the 8, yeah, but I for some reason, I'm not trusting them. I think this market maker is not open yet. The only way to find out is to give them a phone call. I'm being sarcastic. Oh, it's halted? Okay, yeah. Or put out an order and see if you get filled. I cannot believe there's 1,338 open interest there. So you know that hedge funds are doing the exact same thing. And DBI 316, we're okay there. John, Quebec Sierra. That's sloppy. You got resistance to the left. Yeah, Tom, I don't know if they're open, but yeah, I got no problem with that trade at all. Apple, yeah, day trade. Yeah, big old bottoming tail. You know, relative weakness, obviously, but it's just a trade. Microsoft's a little bit stronger, actually. Well, I take that back. It's stronger because it's a bullish engulfing on the 50, but it still had a comparative bearish gap today. The percent gap was a lot bigger than the Qs. Hey, BBY, I said, look at that. I said, let's see what it does at the 200. All right, so 0 DTE, I'm sorry, 1 day. Say that just the Jack market makers, 20 cents by 70. That's what these jerks do on earnings. So unless you're just going to buy the stock, you can't, the options are untradeable. Looking at the other things, Amazon's perking. Amazon, if it were to close that, if it closes like this could be a 1 DTE put spread. I'm not going to do it right here at 938, but let's see how it closes. My 15-minute charts of usual suspects, I'm seeing a lot of A lot of bullish bar. Look at Intel. It's a 1, 2, 3 if it closes here. AIG, that was Debbie's trade the other day that she didn't tell me about. AEO was on our list yesterday. That's still marching up. SPG. GME's open. Let's see what those calls are going to adjust like. I seriously doubt we're going to get 175 for the 800s. And I am wrong. 196? Are you insane? I have never seen like anything like this in my life. My mouth is open in shock. You can get $2. This is insane. Greg, you remember the other disaster? What do you think of this? What, I'm speechless. I'm speechless. I did look at that short interest thing, and back here it was like 140%, and now it's only like 50. So yes, there still could be a short squeeze. But folks, what chance do you think this is going to go to $800 by tomorrow? DBI? Oh shoot, DBI is going. DBI's DBI's a go now.